Deirdre.
And we're about to show you how to do this move. It's a combination of different moves. We have a send out, a lead sneak in, some side movie steps, a follow turn, and some
Coming back together and sorting yourselves out?
Yes. There are different variations we can put in the move, but let's first start with the send out.
Good place to start, no?
Alright. So we start with half basic. 1, 2, 3, and 4. From here, the lead takes a side step, but gives the follow a little bit more space, so the follow can move a little bit more back, while the lead
steps forward, or I should say transfers his weight back to his left leg on 5.
where we have a little bit of a stretch going on here.
Yeah.
The amount of stretch is depending on what happens next. So we can make this very vanilla, very gentle, or very big. Let's show one more time here.
It's just from the side step, I think.
So from start, really.
Okay. 1, 2, 3, and 4, 5, 6.
Yes.
Ooh, I got my count on the first one. Sorry, it was 5, and then 6. We're all sorted out.
And then what happens? You do the magic.
So from here, so I've transferred on 6, I put my weight back onto my left leg. We're connected here, we have some energy, and I'm basically just going to move my weight back and sort of collect myself back onto my right leg. So as I'm moving my weight back into the center, my arm is also coming together here, and that'll give the follow the energy to come forward.
What's also happening is that Elmer is using me as a wall to kind of push herself back, right?
Yeah, indeed. So I'm not trying to forcibly push her as I'm moving back to my center, but I consider her to be more of an immovable force as delete the joke. And then, so once we're here, rather than trying to move her, I try to use her indeed to move myself back onto my center, because I'm pretty stretched out here, so I can use that energy here, and I can use her to help me come back forward, back onto this leg.
And I feel that energy, and then I move in that direction. So I'm here, and then we have 2, but this was very gentle what Elmer just did, and that was why I was just kind of like walking, chilling over here, chilling. But we can also give a tiny bit more energy.
So we'll hold it there for a little bit, and then.
When there's more energy, you will probably feel the intention to triple step there, especially at the end. You have like
So for me, if I want to lead these differences, it's definitely a thought of how much energy, and I try to think of it in terms of where I'm going to move myself. So if we're just doing a relaxed one and I'm like here, then all I think about is bringing myself back to center, so bringing myself back over my right foot, and that's the energy that I will put into the release as well. I'll just move myself back. But if I want to do a triple step, and I can see you for 1 second, so if I want to have that extra energy, normally once we do that side step, you can see with this space, my follow is to the right of my right leg. So if I want to do a triple step, what I think in my own head is, wait a minute, I would actually like to be where she is now. And obviously because that's farther away from where I am now, where my right leg is now, I need to use more energy. So for that, I think, okay, and boom, bada, and then I end roughly where my follow was, give or take.
Yes. So let's do it one more time in the loop, and then we'll take it from there. This was a very gentle triple.
So you're going, oh, we were doing a triple.
No, it doesn't matter. It doesn't really matter because after, I mean, even if I do a triple and you do more stepping, we end up like this. And from there on, we can do some grooving here. Take it in open a little bit, but we can also do a lead sneak in.
And so with this, I'm going to keep my hand where it is, and I'm going to move myself around this sort of pivot point, because I don't want to give my follow any indication that to come forward or go backward. So it's pretty important that I keep this hand where it is. From here, I'm just going to step, And if we maybe 180 ourselves a little bit, so you can see the hand, what's happening. So I'm holding it here, and what I do is I come in as I'm rotating. I'm going to switch hands to this hand, but I'm going to try to keep that same level of energy so that she doesn't get any desire to move, and then just come in. So if I just kind of quickly reset this, just so you can see it in a more fluid move. Once we're here, I'm coming in, I set, gather, and boom. And we connect here.
Yes. So as a follow, I have a moment where I'm kind of waiting for the lead. I don't get any clues of where I should move, because this is very still, it's in the same place, no energy. So I'm kind of like here, so I could just like, okay, you come in, or I could maybe make some slide feet things. I could also just move on the spot, because I don't get any clues on where to go, so I have a little bit of freedom here to chill around,
Do your own thing.
chill around. Yes. Until the moment when Elmer is kind of stepping here in front of me. So at this point, Elmer's going to do side steps. Maybe we can do the thing. I can just move with him. Just step to the side. I can also use my arms if I like. Add some styling, maybe some hips. That's all your own fun game. Or could I also just stand still? No, it's all.
Oh, that feels really weird. Yeah.
Dragging my arm out. No.
So I'll just move myself, it's fine, I don't need you.
I could also do. Go,
Oh, sorry. Oh.
I could. But
Now I feel like we're entering some weird, like,
yes.
Saturday Night
You're
Fever.
like, this is not what we discussed.
She's going off book.
I'm going off the grid here. But anyways, let's just for now say, after all your funking around in this move, where the lead doesn't even know what you're doing, because he can't see you. At the end, we are moving in the same rhythm. So let's do the whole thing until there.
Slow Bal.
One, two, ba-da, two. So there's a thing where you want to get out of this, right? Yeah, you do. You want to get out of it.
Yeah, alright, she wants to get out of it, so I guess you can get out of it, yeah. Okay.
So what kind yeah, you did work again, I just, no.
Another inappropriate remark, I'll just leave it. Alright, so once I'm ready to come out, so for the moment what we're doing is we're actually pretty relaxed. Like you can see, I mean in this case Deirdre's hand is just, or arm is sort of resting on my shoulder, but it doesn't have to be. You'll have to adjust this depending on the height of your follow. But once we want to go out, we're going to slow it down here. As I come back into this step and I'm waiting, I'm going to raise the hand a little bit and allow some energy to build up here. So let's do it one more time. Sorry. Right. So we've got some space, which is an indication with the follow that something's going to happen, and we're making space also for us, because what we're going to do next is we're actually going to step and we're going to turn and bring that hand over our head.
Yes.
And then we're going to wait.
Important also, I think, is that when you want to exit it and you move your hand from where it was resting to a little bit more up, in my side step, I also rotate a little bit more back. It's kind of a tiny prep for a turn, because a turn is much more easy when I want to turn that way, when I have a bit of a movement here first, and then move there. So wind yourself up. And it's just tiny, but I think it does make a little difference when I really feel like, okay, turning in, I will do it sideways, so my hand normally is resting here. Oh, yeah, and why not?
Why not? Let's see what happens.
Join me. So it's here, and then you see my body shifting to the side. I hope you see it. So this is what we need for the exit. Two, bow. Then comes an important job. Follow. Sorry, I was like realizing you were
That's good.
in front of me in the camera. Which is that we need to move on a straight line. If we move like a drunken lady, the guy doesn't know where to pick us up. That's also
I don't know.
Anyway.
But anyway.
So, where can you see my lines? I think you can see my lines here. Yeah, right? sharp lines on the floor. So when I'm stepping, doing these side steppy things, when the moment comes where I turn, I step on the line. That's important. I'm very predictable in that way.
And to follow this up, as leads, if we watch what's happening when I do this turn, so I've got that prep, and you can see, actually, sorry, let's do quickly back and forth. So if we're grouping side by side, actually, maybe you can see on the floor, you can see the lines of the floorboards. And so here you can see I'm moving on a line, but once I go into that turn, boom, I've done that prep, I'm actually going to come onto my follows line. So my first step is sort of halfway there, boom, and then my next step, I'm completely on her line, which allows her to turn into me. So our job is also to get into that line. So if our follow does his or her job and moves into the line, and we make sure that we're in the line to receive them, then we just continue on, and then it works beautifully, and yeah, like that.
It is. Now I hear you thinking.
Really, I hear what's going on in the
Yeah,
next door, but
me too, I can interrupt as well. But let's just pretend it's the people thinking. Like, is she making a step-step turn or a triple-step turn?
Ooh, that's a good question.
It's a good question. It doesn't really matter for the ending of the move. Elmer is waiting for me. So whether I do a triple step or a step-step, it kind of works both ways. We tested it quite a lot of times. Yeah. So it all depends on when we're doing these, and the lead is prepping by, bringing us a little bit in a turn. If after it's a very relaxed, then I will probably just turn. But if it's a bit more energetic, then I will probably triple step.
And in theory, so when we come in as the lead, once we've come around, we've done our turn, we're basically just waiting on our right leg ready to move with our left. If she rotates into me, if she's not on the right leg, it will become our job to then adjust that. But you'll actually be able to feel that with the turn, actually. So this is a part where normally we're saying, okay, follows, feel which weight you're on. And we're always saying to the leads, be very clear about what weight you're on. Now this is the part where we're waiting. She's turning, so she's going to be committed to one foot or another, and we'll feel it in the way she connects with us, and then we just adjust to that so that we can carry over. So it's the first step of...
Shall we show it that we can do it both ways? So from the side steppies.
So let's start from the left.
So you're first going to do that. Oh, so I hope you saw my footwork, but it was very gentle. Maybe you should do the other one around.
Actually, the
like this. Yeah. So there are the triple steps. I prefer the second one a little bit more, especially because if the turning is too slow, then you're like, whoa.
It's hard to get that energy sometimes.
Yeah.
And the nice thing, of course, is part about creating that dynamic within the dance. If we've got these grooves and we're super chill, it's kind of nice to be able to end that with something a little bit more spicy. But that's your choice.
Yes. I think this might be the trickiest part of the whole move.
I think so.
But because after we've managed to get back together, we can't just walk it out.
Yeah.
First in a rotational way, because we have this rotational energy, but we can, after a couple of steps already, keep it going into steps. So,
yeah.
Shall we show it all?
Let's do it. The whole thing is over.
Yeah.
Alright, so we'll try from the middle list.
you're going like back. You're like, oh, I just got this move. And stuff.
But hey, it's a send out, right? So.
And you can just stop the video now if you have enough video.
Yeah, you can shut us up. Isn't that amazing?
True, you can mute us.
Not that you'd want to.
Amazing technology. So we had like the send out where we had a very mellow, gentle version, one where we had a bit more triple step version. We can also do an inside turn. We did those in classes. 2, 3, 1. 2, same beginning. 2, da. 2, da.
Sky's the limit.
Yes.
Really. And the other thing I want to point out as well is you get more comfortable. So we've got the send out and we're in open. And in all the ones that we've been doing here that we've been showing you, I've been sort of coming in pretty quick. But actually that doesn't need to happen. If we're out here, I could do some nice fun groovy stuff and then decide, cool, to come in. Right, we can play around a lot with this depending on what's happening within the music and what's happening within ourselves at the moment.
Yes. So, I think that is it.
I think that's it.
Yeah, have fun practicing and
Tot snel, hopelijk.
good luck.